final session before the break. I want to introduce Ran, who has more than 20 years of experience in various customer-facing roles. Today, he manages the global CS organizations at Silverfort and is very passionate about facing the challenges of scaling the organization as the company grows, focusing on processes and leveraging data to more efficiate the work. Ran, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I think all of us heard a lot about AI for today. So I'm not going to talk about AI. I'm going to focus on what we can do with actual data, with things that we have today. And to share a little bit, in the last 2 companies, I was the first customer success and really faced the challenge of dealing with data and understanding how we can leverage it in the customer success. So I'll hope you enjoy this session. I'll start a little bit about myself. So I'm married with 2 kids. I live in Tel Aviv, just 400 meters from here. So it was an easy commute this morning. About 20 years in tech companies, worked at Checkpoint, Intel, AlgoSec, and then in the last 2 companies, Logs.io and Silverfort, basically I joined as the first customer success, and that was my first steps in the customer success world. I did various roles. I started at doing support at Checkpoint, and then I moved into pre-sale. I did product at some point as well at Logs.io, and really found my place back home with customer success. And let's start. So I found that I was looking for quotes about data, and the interesting thing is that I found from someone that is not from our age of data that we are overwhelmed with data, and I really connected with the message here. Data is like garbage. You'd better know what you're going to do with it before you collect it. So it's very easy to collect a lot of data. At the end of the day, it's really hard for us to focus and to understand how to leverage it, how to use it, and that's something that I really relate to. How many of you works at a company that heard their manager, the CEO say that they are data-driven companies? I see, yeah. Silverfort, take your hands down, please. I know where you're working. So again, everybody says that they're data-driven. Then you're coming to a meeting. We have an escalation with the customer. We have things that are going on. At the end of the day, everybody is acting on hunches and not enough based on data. And this is something that is becoming a big challenge as the organization scale. At the beginning, you don't have a lot of customers. It's really easy to know them. But as you scale, you really need to bring data points and really to understand what you're talking about. And when talking about data sources, so again, I worked at Logs.io. Logs.io is a data analytic company, so I really learned that everything can be treated as data. And I try to kind of frame it on what are the type of data that are interesting for me. And again, early stage companies, smaller companies, you have different departments. Each one will do their own things. Marketing, for example, they care about SQL, MQL, all of those kind of things. But there are a lot of data that is relevant for other departments as well. For example, webinars, who attended the webinar, and so on. Training, who did training, who took the courses, who didn't do that. In sales, who are the relevant people, who are the decision maker about the deal, what they talked about, product usage. I think it's pretty clear for all of us that we need to know what at the end of the day to track adoption, and we need that using the product data. Customer success, all kind of interaction, where they are in the journey, NPS, and so on, and support, number of tickets, overall satisfaction. Finance, in previous session, they were talking about, a customer not paying his bills. So again, this is something that is very important for the customer success, and so on. And legal, all kind of surprises that are hidden for us in the contract that we need to know as we progress with the customer. So a little bit about, again, data and customer success. As I said, without data, we will be really blindfolded and not knowing what we need to do. It's easy, to get on a call with the customer, talk about the weather, talk about the football match or whatever. But at the end of the day, you want to know what's going on with the customer. You want to know, is he adopting the product? Yes or no? if any signals on license utilization, if there's an upsell opportunity or something else, and so on. So without that, it's really hard for us to focus, to know which customer we should talk about, to talk with, etc. Health score is, without data, you can't really have a health score. It's just a sentiment and nothing else than that. But by the way, also, as I said, everything can be treated as data. Sentiment is also in, all of the soft touch points, I would call it, can also be accumulated into the data itself. A little bit about lesson learned. So I'll try to get into a few of them later on in the presentation, but a few lessons learned from the 2 previous companies that I worked for. So first of all, we need to start early. As I joined Silverfort, at the beginning, you still have time, not a lot of customers. So I really try to understand where can get data, what kind of data is available for each department, etc. So really, there is no need to wait with it, and I think that is really important to start early. Segmenting the data, again, not all data is created equally. Some things will be much more meaningful and important for the day-to-day operation of the customer success and to know where they need to focus. Some of them are really nice to know, but again, focus, that's always the case. Break the silos. Again, when I started at Silverfort, marketing, holding all their information within their self, product, they have their own information, etc. At the end of the day, if we are creating this collaboration, it's really a multiplier, and I'll show some examples later on. And this is really something that can create a common language across the whole organization. When talking about adoption, talking about customer health, etc. So this is something that can help all of the organization. Where to consume the data, I'll touch that later on, but every team needs to consume it in the system that they're used to work, and no jumping in between systems as much as possible. Do not boil the ocean. This is, again, going to the focus. Don't try to solve everything at once. Don't try to, create a mega project that there is no end to it. Try to collect whatever you can and keep on improving. Experiment with the data, trial and error. Again, very important to see what works, what doesn't work, especially when talking about health score. At the end of the day, you don't really know how to build it up. You need to start, see, adjust, and so on. And the last thing is every person might read the same data in a different way, and I'll talk about it soon. A little bit about the story of data at Silverfort, just to let you know, as I said, when I started at Silverfort, the product that Silverfort has is an on-prem product, which is a huge challenge in acquiring the product usage data that is, the main contributor to the health score. So thankfully, we do have a kind of a connector to messaging, cloud messaging server, so it's some channel that we can get the data from. In terms of the stack, when I started, we had Salesforce, like many other companies, and Zendesk. I started actually help from a friend to build up a kind of a ETL tool that is open source, and I plugged it into Salesforce. Again, in the beginning, you have access to everything like administrator, so it was very easy, but we kind of connected all of the things. And we decided at that point that Salesforce is going to be kind of the single source of truth, and we want as much as possible to consolidate the data in Salesforce and replicate it to other systems as needed. For example, Zendesk. So today, the flow is from Salesforce into Zendesk. I also added the kind of an open source BI system called Metabase. Again, when you start, you just download something. It's very easy. And then start building up and experimenting with some dashboards. Later on, we added ever after, again, getting the data from Salesforce. About a year ago, we decided as a company strategy to move to Tableau as our BI tool, which actually will replace eventually the Metabase as something for dashboards. And now we are actually, again, keep on evolving, keep on changing. Now we are moving into a phase that, as many other companies, Snowflake gets into the picture. And now we're working on ways of extracting the data and connecting it from Snowflake and then to all the relevant system. Again, The flows are always going into Salesforce. Not all of the data will go into Salesforce. You know, if you clicked on some page or something like that, that's things that at the end of the day we will get from Snowflake in other ways. But the important data that is important for all the relevant system, all the other things, will get into Salesforce. Again, looking for quotes. Keep it simple and focus on what matters. Don't let yourself be overwhelmed. Again, something from Confucius. So again, not from our age. But I think it's really, that's the key point, to focus and to really understand what you need to look at. It's very easy to get distracted. A little bit about how to consume data. So as I said, we need to make sure that the data is available for all the teams in the relevant system that they use. If I'm a salesperson, it will be Salesforce. Support engineer will go in Zendesk. For customer success, we have Planet, Ever After. We have other system, for example, HubSpot and other things. So at the end of the day, I don't want to jump between systems. So a few examples. This is from our Salesforce. It's very easy to see, we are populating all the information that the product telemetry that is important for us. Again, there is many more things that we can add, but this is what we decided that we want to focus. And we keep on changing and cleaning it up as needed. Also, Zendesk is also connected to Salesforce. A salesperson wants to see what's going on with a ticket. He can do that in Salesforce. No need for him to ask access for Zendesk, et cetera, et cetera. CS platform. So we use Planet in-house. This is our CS platform. And it's connecting to, right now, to Salesforce to get the data. And we do have plans, again, to leverage Snowflake as we move along. But again, all the information is here. Also, things that are relevant in Planet will go into Salesforce. So for example, the customer journey, where they're located, and so on. So Planet will feed it to Salesforce, and then Zendesk and all the other components. This is from Zendesk. Again, no need for the support engineer to jump around to understand who is the customer success, which version they're on, what kind of service level they're on, etc. It's all there. And Ever After, as I said, we use it for the customer portal. I think that this is something that I think Yair has had a session about it, which is very powerful. You can, based on the data that you have, actually populate specific call to actions or specific widgets that the customer will be able to see based on the information that we have, which version he's on and which features he's using, and so on. I saw this great meme in Facebook, and it really connected to what I wanted to share here. So take a second to read it. At the end of the day, we create all kind of fields, all kind of data, but we are not creating a common language. When I'm talking about active user, maybe I'm talking about who logged into the system in the last 30 days, but maybe someone else read it to someone that is right now in the system. We tend to use all kind of, cryptic messages and hoping that people will understand what we meant. For example, when I created in Salesforce our section about customer success, for some reason I used hash of users instead of writing number of users, hoping that people will understand what I meant. But again, you need to make sure that whatever data that you have, it's very clear for everybody, to add tooltips if needed, and education as well, so they know what they're looking at, what it means, and what it means for them. Dashboards. Everybody loves dashboards, but to be honest, I kind of hate them. A good dashboard, I think, for me as a manager is very important to understand trends, to understand what's going on. But at the end of the day, I don't want to spend my time jumping between dashboards and trying to get the information that is important. Usually what happens with dashboard is, this is from a Planet, sorry, Kara, but you see that we have a lot, a dashboard and then new CS portfolio and then to clean and then old and copy, and it's getting messed up really, really quickly. And I don't know which dashboard I should look at. And when talking about customer success, when I need to do my day-to-day managing the accounts, if I have, 50 accounts, I don't want to jump between dashboards, one between customer card to another customer card and so on. So I need to be able to really get the information when needed and not wait for those, to be sure that I can pick it up in a dashboard. And as I said earlier, everybody can read a dashboard in a different way. Again, is it a good trend, not a good trend? It's in the eyes of the person that is watching it. Let the data work for you. I think, as I said about dashboard, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we leverage the data, that it can help us in the day-to-day. And as I said, also to create cross-team collaboration and really create this common language. In this example, when we have a renewal that is coming up, and there is an automated mail going to we have renewal team that is responsible for the renewal, basically sharing, here's the example, basically sharing the information about the product usage that this customer has, with a clear call to action, to make sure that we talk about the relevant things about upsell opportunity, risk, etc., and so on. But it's creating a common language. It's creating something that they can both talk together and start discussion. Another example is the collaboration with marketing. So in this example, we had a webinar about a component that we have in our system. So we know based on the data, the product data that we have, which customers are actually using this component or not using it. So it allows us, together with the marketing, to really build up a funnel of activities that we want to do to nurture and to get those customers that are not using it to use it more and so on. So really, again, creating a common language and combining from both aspects. Another thing is, I think it was discussed in the previous session as well, alerts. Try as much as possible if you are using CS platform, if you have something that can use webhooks or something like that, create alerts about interesting things. At the end of the day, I don't want to sit on dashboards and try to understand if this customer is good or not good. I want to be to get alerted and to get it in a push and not wait for it or to hope that I will catch it at the end of the day. Last thing, I can't go without AI. I promised I won't talk a lot about it, but there is no way to go around that. Today at Silverfort, we are just starting our first steps, I would say, in AI. Everybody likes to think about it and strategize and to see where we're going. We do have Gong and Glean. Glean is kind of an AI that oversees all of our data sources, documentation, tickets, Slack, etc., and we can interact and ask questions. And Gong that summarizes calls and gets us really nice email summaries. And now they added something that you can ask about red flags or things like that. I think that next year or the customer conference next year or the year after, it will be totally different. Here, by the way, this is not real. This is something I created using ChatGPT to create a prompt-like emulation. And I think that at the end of the day, this is where it's heading and that we are starting to see the first steps in that direction. I still think that there are a lot of challenges in actually teaching the AI, the models of understanding what is good and what is bad in terms of the specific data and the product usage, adoption, and so on. But definitely, I think that very fast we'll get there. And that's about it. So let's hope for better days, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ran. I think we have a few minutes for questions. If anyone would like to ask anything.
On-premise customers, the black box challenge. You mentioned that you have some kind of telemetry that you are sending, but most of it is black box. So what, let's say from a health score perspective, how do you measure the usage of a black box, and how do you weight it compared to interactions that you do know with the customers, like tickets, CS, and other?
So as a short, thankfully, although the product is on-prem, we do have an actual way of getting I would say the product usage, because it's connected to the cloud for it has an MFA push that needs a cloud connection. So we're kind of streaming the data over there. So we do have the ability to see actual product usage to factor in into the health score. Again, the big challenge with that is because it's on-prem. You know, I want to add a new telemetry, I want to change something, or our pricing model, which is actually just happened now. A pricing model change. Now I need to wait for all the customer to be in a version that has that data, so we can actually start doing. Otherwise, it creates, you know, a lot of variation in the model and creates a lot of noise.
Ran, thank you for taking the thing that everybody wants, but nobody wants to do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.